So last week I posted a video with the new Natasha Denona Hyper Natural Face Palette, and in that video we went over a bunch of things. I swatched this palette out and I also compared it to I Need a Nude, I compared it to Glam, and then I did a little tutorial with that palette. So if you want to check out my first video that's very in-depth with this palette, I highly recommend you watch that. I'll link it down below for you. But I had so many people in the comments ask me how the palette wore, so today I'm doing a wear test with this palette. I did also use different shades today for this eye look, so this eye look is completely different from the video on Saturday. So maybe if you wanted another tutorial with this palette, you'll get that in this video as well. So if you want to see how I got this look using the Hyper Natural Face Palette and a wear test, go ahead and keep on watching. So this is now my third time using this palette, and honestly the first time that I wore this palette in the video that you guys saw, I didn't wear my makeup for that long that day. I ended up filming pretty late in the night. I think I was done filming around 6 p.m. I only had the eyeshadow on for a little bit of time and couldn't do a true wear test. And then the next day when I was getting ready, I decided to use the palette again. I did not film with it. I just wanted to do my makeup off camera, and I used her concealer as an eyeshadow base, but I found that after about 4 or 5 hours the eyeshadow was creasing because again I did not set it with the powder. Because in that first video I found that you can't really apply these cream shadows on top of a set base because it kind of sticks, it gets a little patchy, it doesn't really work. So you definitely need an unset base. So today I want to try the MAC paint pot again because like I said, I didn't give it a long enough of a wear test, so I'm going to try this as my eye base. I'm not going to set it, and I'm also going to use a couple different shades today that I haven't used yet on my eyes. So I'm going to take my MAC paint pot on a little concealer brush, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. I really think that the concealer was just a little bit too slippery as an eyeshadow base, whereas a paint pot like this does dry down, I would say like a little bit matte. It does definitely set down more than the concealer, so I'm hoping that the shadow does not crease with this as an eye base. I really like using this brush as my eyeshadow base brush because it has some really long fibers at the top there that really help to get just right below your brow without messing up your brows. If you are interested in these MAC paint pots and maybe you have a different skin tone than me, they do have a couple other colors that you can use. Isn't like soft ochre, is that one of them? I think it's a little bit more yellow. Painterly does lean a little bit more pink, but it does work for me. And then also my struggle today is that I do have some nails on, and because these shadows are meant to be applied with your fingers, it might be a little bit tricky for me, but I'm just kind of testing out this palette in another way today for you guys. Today I want to go in with this soft shade. Out of all of these creamy shadows, this is probably my least favorite color. I just don't wear pink shadow on a daily basis, but I know that a lot of you guys in the comments said you do, so I want to try it out. So this is gonna go all over my lid. And you can see as I apply this, I kind of push my finger up towards my crease to kind of blend out the edges of the shadow. And then taking a clean crease brush, just like with the other look, I'm gonna use this to soften out the edges. So again, I'm kind of pulling this cream shadow upwards to soften it out. Now I'm gonna take the medium bronzer shade on that brush, and I'm gonna lightly stamp that throughout my crease. So I'm kind of doing a stamping motion at first because again my lid is kind of tacky, so doing a back and forth blending motion really won't work right now. So you kind of got to do a little bit of a stamping, kind of a sweeping motion here. And then once you kind of get that first layer of this powder shadow down, then you can do more of a blending motion. I'm gonna see if I can pick up Casual on a small crease brush. That picked up pretty nicely. And I'm gonna try to deepen up the outer part of the lid. Okay, that does apply pretty well. And I'm just trying to use different shades than I used in my first look with this palette. And as always, I'm gonna list and link all the products and brushes that I used today down below. All right, this is as physically close as I can get to you right now, so you can see the eyelid up close and personal. The eyelid does have a little bit of a glow to it, again, because these are cream shadows. And I do feel like I'm seeing a tiny bit of creasing happening kind of right in here, but it's nothing bad at this point, at least. I'm gonna flip that small crease brush over to the clean side, and I'm gonna pick up Dreamy, and I wanna lightly tap some of this on the inner part of my lid. I just love this color. Again, I love her sparkling wet effect shadows. So I just want this right on the inner part. I'm gonna go ahead and do my under eye concealer, and I am using Natasha's concealer in the shade N3. And this has been my favorite concealer ever since it launched. And I like to make a little line right here that's gonna help me clean up the edge of the shadow. And then I'm gonna take the same brush that I used for my eyeshadow primer and use that to blend out the concealer. So you can see how I use this concealer to clean up this line right here. All right, so I applied the concealer, and then I also set my under eyes with a little bit of powder. I'm gonna take the dark contour shade on a pencil brush, and I wanna try this along my lower lash line, because a lot of people in the comments said they would use these brown shades as eyeshadow, so I'm also trying to test that out today. And then also taking a little bit of casual on this brush and applying that on the outer part of my lower lash line. I went ahead and did this eye off camera, and I popped on my mascara. I'm just wearing my favorite mascara, which is the Tower 28 one. It's currently about $2.30, and here is what the eyeshadow is looking like on both eyes. Again, I just feel like I'm starting to see the beginning of creasing right here on my inner lid. So we'll kind of see how that changes throughout the day. And here is this eye. So far, no creasing, but I did just do this eye, so no creases yet. A lot of people in the comments also said how they wish this palette had a highlighter shade in it, and I totally agree. So I'm gonna take a highlighter shade from my palette with Sigma, and I'm gonna take the shade Bright, and I'm just gonna pop that in my inner corner for a little bit of brightness right in here, just to kind of complete the whole eye look for me. Now let's zoom out and do the face. So the first time I wore this palette, I was actually pretty fair. I was wearing the Catrice Tinted Serum Foundation in 10N, whereas today I put on a self-tan last night, so my coloring right now, I'm wearing the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation in light 22 Warm. So I'm excited to see how these face products work on my more tan skin. So I still think this deep shade right here is just too dark for me to be a bronzer color. So with my bronzing brush, I'm just gonna take the first two shades, and we're gonna bronze. And then a little bit along my cheeks. Now for the blush, I'm gonna mix both shades together. That deeper pink shade is very pigmented, so I'm gonna kind of do both cheeks at once here. Yeah, when I was more fair, I wasn't loving that coral pink shade. I just think it kind of clashed with my fair skin tone, but with my tan, I think it looks a lot better. But I also kind of want to see how this pale pink shade is going to show up, so I'm going to take just that on a little small angled brush here and kind of go on the apples of my cheeks. And I'm going to go kind of close to my under eye too, because I like when my under eye has a little bit of a pink blushiness to it. Okay, it actually is showing up. I thought it might have been a little bit too light. And these formulas are pretty matte, so I think I do want to add a little bit of a glow to my face using something else. So I'm going to take my Rare Beauty highlighter and exhilarate just a little bit of this. I have really been liking the light contour shade to contour my nose. So I'm taking it on this little Sigma brush. I don't really do a lot to my nose, but I like it to have some color to it. And then I'll go right under my nose, and then a little right under my lip here. I am officially starting the wear test now, so again, it is 2:33, and the wear test is really more for the eyeshadow. I want to see how it wears and if it creases any more throughout the day, so I will keep you guys updated. So it is currently 5:45, so my eyeshadow's been on for 3 hours now, and let's see what we're looking like. Honestly, I haven't even like looked at it yet, so I'm looking at it with you guys. Oh yeah, there's creasing. Do you see that right in the center? Relax my eyes so you can see that. Yeah, there's a little bit in the center there. And I mean, it's normal for your eyes to have creases, but I don't want my products sticking into my creases. But while we're here, can we also just appreciate my foundation really quick? I'm wearing the Bare Minerals Matte Liquid Foundation, like I said earlier. I have been loving this recently, and you guys can see exactly why. Like, my skin is glowy. It definitely felt pretty matte, like, after I finished applying everything, but it's like my little oils have slowly seeped through. It's giving my skin just a beautiful glow because I only applied highlighter on my cheekbones. Okay, it is currently 7:46 and I have bad news. Do you see it? It's gotten a lot worse. It's funny because it's just like all the shadow in the center of my eyelid is gone and creased. But somehow the inner part and outer part still look okay, so yeah, but it's creasing and it's only been 5 hours. I'm kind of stumped. At this point, I don't really know the best way to work with these cream eyeshadows. So I tried an eyeshadow primer set with a little bit of powder, did not work. Tried just concealer on my eyelids, still creased. I tried just a MAC paint pot and it still creased. So I don't know, my only other thought is maybe like bare skin, because again, this is supposed to be like such a natural, on the go, easy makeup look. But to me, that would just feel so wrong to put eyeshadow on bare skin. It's not gonna last. I think it would still crease even with like the natural oils on your eyelid. So if you guys have any ideas on how you think you can get these shadows to not crease, or if you have tried a palette at this point, because I know it already launched, a lot of people bought it, let me know how you're getting these shadows to work for you. But I kind of just want to give a couple more thoughts now that I have used this entire palette 3 times. First of all, calling this a universal palette is just unfair, honestly. We all know this is not a universal palette. There really should have been at least 2 versions of this palette, maybe a light medium and a medium dark. Exactly what she did with the Glam face palette. Like, she's done it before. She came out with this and made a deep version for deeper skin tones. Why didn't she do it again? So that's just frustrating because the amount of people that this entire palette would work on is a small number of people. I also think that I, as like a beauty person who loves to wear a lot of makeup and tried a bunch of different products, this product is not meant for me. I really think this product is just meant for someone who wants a quick and easy makeup look. They don't like to wear a lot of makeup. They just want it to be easy and have everything in one place, very travel friendly. And there's people like that, but that person is just not me. I'm still not happy with the size of the bronzer and contour little pans right here. I was able to get my bronzer brush to fit in here, but I have to mix like 2 shades at a time. But like we saw from my skin tone, these 2 shades do work for me as a bronzer. That deep one just made me look muddy. But something I saw that I didn't even think about in my first video is that you can pop out these shadows and put any other Natasha Denona shadow in this little palette. So like for me, I wasn't a big fan of just the shade of this soft color. I don't really like to wear this kind of pink shadow, so I'd pop that out, pop something else in there, maybe like a highlight color like we were talking about. So if you have other Natasha Denona palettes and you like the bronzer and the blush and all this face stuff, I think this could be a good palette for you if you want something that's just like super travel friendly. You can put your own shadows in there and these shades work for you. If you do want to check out this palette on Natasha Denona's website, I do have a code ANGELABRIGHT that can save you some money. I really expected to wear this eyeshadow look longer, but it's 8 o'clock and it's already creasing, so I don't see the point of like extending this wear test. You know, it's just gonna crease more. So apparently I forgot to film the entire outro, but I really didn't have much else to say, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would you like to say hi? Sometimes the people want to see you. Sometimes they want to see you and say hi. You're not gonna see my schmoogity bear. Oh no.